if it ain't, I am moving. I wrote that all down. I'll have to forget where I put it when I get home.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Well, at least I can
Wah, wah, wah.
take this week, this month.
More.
Ordinary.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Mel, would you roll call for us, please?
Bernadette is excused tonight. Mr. Heisey?
Here.
Mr. Tim?
Here.
Mr. Cap?
Here.
Mr. Eckstein?
Here.
Mr. Weddy?
Here.
Mrs. Collada?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Waddle?
Here.
Mr. Rothermel?
Here.
Mark Kirschner?
Here.
And present, one absent.
Thank you. Let's stand for our silent prayer and pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we need an approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approval of the agenda.
Motion by Dennis, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have the approval of the minutes of the December 2016 monthly meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Mike, second by
Second.
Bob Waddle. Any questions or comments concerning the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Public comments? Dennis, I think you want to...
Yes, I just have one comment. I'd like to introduce my my grandson, Bo. Stand up, please, Bo.
Hello, Bo.
Bo flew in yesterday from Arizona, and he's here observing the meeting for part of his Boy Scout requirements for a citizenship badge.
Good, thank you, welcome. It's nice to see you. Okay, we will go to unfinished business, we have none. And new business, Mel is gonna do a presentation on the county clerk's office annual report, presidential recount cap, and whatever else she wants to talk about. There you go.
I guess I'll go now.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, I see, I'm hearing short and sweet, but then I have other people saying, you don't want the meeting to be too short.
That was me.
So I'll try to meet somewhere in the middle.
And the fog rolled in.
So first, I'm going to just start with my 2015-2016 report because I realized I don't think I reported on 2015. So that means I get 10 minutes, Mark Kirschner, instead of 5. Because I'm doing 2 years. Just a quick recap of my office. The county clerk's a constitutional office that's described in 59.23 of the statutes. Like the members of the board, I'm an elected official, so my bosses are the voters of Waushara County. And I was just reelected to a 4-year term or a 4-year sentence, whatever you want to describe it as, in the November election. So the major areas that my office is involved with is elections, county board, budget finance, licensing, office supplies purchasing, and general information. We get a lot of work done in our office with a very small staff. It's just me, my deputy clerk, Megan Kapp, and the budget finance supervisor, Sarah Lucchini. Those two people were in new positions in mid-2015, so both my staff members were new to their positions. So we had a lot of training and mentoring that's been happening in the last couple of years, and I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome. Just a great, small, but great staff. Elections is a major source of change and challenge in my office. 2015 was a fairly quiet year. We didn't have any fall elections. We had just the spring election and assisted with one school district primary. So it was pretty quiet as far as elections go. And we brought in revenues of $5,800, and those revenues mainly are charging back municipalities for the work that we do for them that are their statutory responsibility. It's mostly computer work in the statewide election administration system. 2016, I guess we made up for 2015. It was a very, very busy year elections-wise. We had 4 elections. Of course, one of those was the presidential. And we, of course, had a statewide recount, which I'm sure you all were aware of. Our election revenues aren't all in yet, but we're anticipating it's going to be about $13,000 in municipal reimbursements and payments. And we have about $12,000 coming in recount reimbursements. That's about how much it cost the county, was just under $12,000 to do that, some may say pointless recount. Some other things we, have you ever known me to be any different? We hosted a training for 70 to 80 clerks and election inspectors in May 2016, so very well attended, very well received, something we're proud of, an accomplishment we had. And we ended up providing increased services for municipalities for that statewide voter system because of a law the legislature passed in March of 2016 that said that all absentee ballots had to be tracked. Every time an absentee ballot was requested, it had to be tracked in the computer. Every time the ballot was sent, anytime a ballot was sent out, it needed to be tracked. And when it was received back, it needed to be tracked. So each absentee ballot would have at least 3 touches, so to speak, and very time-consuming process that we helped municipalities with. And of course, there was the recount, which I'll talk about just in a little bit. Of course, we do work for the county board. We, under the direction of the chair, we create the agendas and keep the minutes, keep all your official actions, resolutions, your ordinances. We distribute all those papers to any affected parties, get the minutes published, all that kind of good stuff. For our budget and finance responsibilities, aside from payroll, we pay all the bills for the county, which is about 7,000 checks per year that go through our office. And we try to keep an eye and make sure people are using their correct accounts when they're charging things out, that they're following the guidelines that you have set, you know, as far as anything $5,000 or more, that's an unusual expense that needs committee approval. So we try to catch those things, but it's you know, a lot of volume, so we do the best we can. We check the money that's receipted by the treasurer. We balance cash with the treasurer monthly. We've been working on uniform grant guidance. Some new federal guidelines for accounting came through that we're trying to get in compliance with for our audit. We drafted a budget carryover policy that you all adopted last year. Sarah, our budget finance supervisor, has documented many of her day-to-day duties that had no written procedures before, and she did such a good job that when she was on maternity leave in 2016, Megan and I were able to keep up with all the day-to-day stuff because she had it outlined for us very, very well. Sarah's also created some easier-to-read reports for departments. They have a hard time with our Springbrook trial balance reports. So this kind of spells it all out for them. It requires more work on her part, but the departments really like it. And of course, we pull together all the budget information. We calculate the apportionment. A lot goes into that. It's a multi-month process budget. And this time of year, we're doing 1099 miscellaneous tax filing. Any of our vendors that we've paid over $600 the previous year have to get a tax form called a 1099 miscellaneous, so that's what we're working on. And of course, the financial study, Mike Konechny from Schenck, who's now out on his own, has helped us with that and is helping us to get up to date with our operations. Really quickly about our licensing, marriages, less people are getting married, which you may have heard. That's the truth in Waushara County also. We had 134 marriage licenses in 2014. It decreased to 117 in 2015, and then last year we only had 113 licenses. 6 of those in the 2015 to 2016 time period, 6 of those were same-sex marriages, which became legal in 2014. Of the $80 fee for a license, we get to keep 25, so our revenues for that are only about $3,000 a year. Our dog licensing, we're kind of unique in the state of Wisconsin that we issue dog licenses for all the municipalities. In most other counties, the town, village, and city treasurers do that year-round. Many, many years ago, our municipalities authorized the county to do that for them. So we issue through our office about 800 dog licenses a year, and we were handwriting them up until 2015, and we rolled out an electronic program that makes that a lot easier for us, and we're making good use of that. Dog licensing is also decreasing, about 2,200 last year, and 18 kennels. But it does bring in some revenue for us since we do these dog licenses. Last year it was close to $14,000 in revenue. We do templates. We stopped doing DNR licensing in mid-2015 because 96% of what we brought in was just going to the state, and it just we couldn't justify the staff time it took anymore. We were just making such pennies off of it, and there's multiple locations within the county that do sell those hunting and fishing licenses. And we do timber cutting notice filing, which brings in a little revenue for us as well, about $1,680 in 2016. We purchase office supplies, and we give out a lot of information and directions all day long over the phone and in person because people think we're the clerk of courts, or they just walk in the door and see us. So instead of reading signs, they ask us where to go, and we're happy to help them with that. Through the strategic planning process, we did come up with a mission statement that I'll share with you really quickly. To provide assistance and high-quality services to the public, other county departments, board supervisors, local municipalities, and state agencies in an efficient, respectful, and fiscally responsible manner consistent with state statutes and county board policies and ordinances. Financially, just really quick, we average about $310,000 in tax levy per year. That's something that's remained pretty static over the years. And a little over a third of that is the county board's expenses. So it's not, you get a pretty good bang for your buck with the county clerk's office. We were under budget in 2015 because of some health insurance, some employee health insurance changes, salary benefits changes, and one less election than we had budgeted for. In 2016, we're going to be a little closer because of the election expenses mostly. So I'm sure I'm well over my 10 minutes. So just to give you a little background on the recount, we did that from December 1st to December 7th, I believe it was. It was the first statewide presidential recount in our state's history. Lucky us. And the second statewide recount that I've been involved in my 6 years as clerk. The one I was previously in happened just a few months after I took office and was for the Justice of Supreme Court. We had estimated the cost was going to be around $13,000 to $13,500, and that it would take us around 7 full business days. It turned out to be just under $12,000 and took us 4 full business days and 2 half days. So that sounds better than what we were anticipating, but if you divide that out, it was 2 full weeks of my deputy's time, 80 hours, and more than 2.5 weeks of my time. I put in 106 hours towards the recount. Not just the proceedings, but preparing for it, attending webinars, and doing minutes, cleaning up afterwards. So huge undertaking for the office. And the net changes that came about were 2 lost votes for Trump, 1 lost vote for Clinton, and 5 additional votes for a registered write-in named Evan McMullen, which many of you probably haven't even heard of. So out of the more than 12,000 votes, only there were 16 changes, most of which canceled each other out, a little here, a little there. So the changes for 16 over, from 12,000 votes, that's, I think, 1/8 of 1% change. So I won't give you all the details on that. Just so you know, a recount isn't just simply recounting votes. It's a review of all the major paperwork associated with an election. If you've noticed at the polling places, your poll workers have 2 copies of the poll book that they're looking at. Those have to be compared and made sure that they are identical, and if they're not, those issues need to be identified in order to prove how many voters you had for sure on election day and make sure that your ballots match with that amount. And you also look at every absentee ballot envelope. If any of you voted absentee, when you vote, you put your ballot into an envelope and it has to be signed and witnessed. And so all that has to be scrutinized and to determine if those ballots were accepted properly. And there's much more to it as well. I can tell you that the only issues that we found were human error. There were no machine problems of any kind. The only errors that we found were in paper ballots, where humans are counting them, or absentee voting, which are on paper. So don't believe any of the rhetoric that our machines are being hacked in Wisconsin. They're not connected to the internet. They're extremely, extremely accurate, more accurate than human beings ever will be. And we didn't find any problems with them at all.
That's really interesting because the lady that, wanted the recount after it was over said, well, maybe Wisconsin will get better voting machines now. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know why she'd even say that, because they were proved to be very, very accurate. And so just thank all the poll workers and your municipal clerks for doing such a good job on election day. We had a lot of good information to work with. It was a very clean election that they ran, so I'm really appreciative to all them for all their hard work. It was much cleaner than the recount we had 6 years ago, so they've really learned from that experience and gotten a lot better with how they're administering elections. Special thanks to Marilyn Chesbrough, Pat Kayer, and Tom Stepanek, who were on the board of canvassers. My deputy clerk, Megan Kapp, was absolutely vital to the process. And, of course, Sarah Lucchini covered the office while we were in recount proceedings for well over a week, which, isn't easy either. And Heather Schwersinska covered our office one day for us, too, the Register of Deeds, which was very nice. And Ruth was there and during our webinar and with the state, and she popped in a couple different times to check in on us and make sure everything was going well. So although it was a lengthy and frustrating process, it was very positive, I guess, and I'm very thankful for everyone's help with that. So unless there are any questions, that's all that I will entertain with you tonight. Yes, Everett.
Not a question, but a comment. Some of us here are town chairman, and I think we're gratified by the fact that our poll workers are doing such a good job. They're very
Yeah, they are.
couldn't speak for everybody, but God, it makes us feel good about it.
I'd like you to keep the candy dish full with a better variety.
That'll be one of my
The only
goals.
department that has a candy dish. Even our corp council don't have one.
That'll be one of my goals for 2017, Mark.
We're just wondering how many Russian ballots you had.
How many Russian ballots? We didn't need a translator to come in or anything, so I don't think we had too many. Thanks, everybody.
thank you very much. Next, we are going to do resolution number 010117, approval of bicycle accommodations for County Highway F from Pre-Drive to 21st Avenue, funded by federal and local funds.
Motion to approve the resolution?
Motion by Dennis, second by Everett. Do you have any questions or comments? If you need to hear anything from Brian, he's here just in case. No questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Passes. Bo, do you have any questions so far? Okay, then that must mean we're doing things okay. Thank you. Next, Barry is going to hand out the tablets. Give us a little tutorial.
I don't know if all of you have met Barry. Barry Wester, he our information systems coordinator. So when Mike retired, Barry took his place, and he's doing a great job.
Thanks, Brian, for coming.
Thank you.
Even for, is that the only problem you got today with me?
No,
I'm doing pretty good.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Get it open.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
At least the rubber
Bernadette's not
band,
here.
I guess. Huh? I got it open, Jerry, did you? You gotta take the rubber band off of it.
You're the one that wanted these wheels.
Yeah, sure, blame it on me.
You're the one that wanted them wheels.
Yeah, I did. Broke mine already. How'd you get yours to do that?
Just open it up and set it until it's gone. At least mine did.
To do?
You're upside down.
Oh, shit, no wonder.
Yep.
Now I ain't got no picture.
Oh, wait a
I
minute.
turned that off, Barry, if you want to flip it back on.
I broke it already.
Sorry about that.
Drops and spills.
Probably need the microphone today.
Probably need to have Bogo sit back by Jerry.
Having Jeff pass it out, so there's no revolts.
Huh?
I said you're having Jeff pass out their stuff, so
Doing a
there's no
great
revolts.
job, Jeff.
You are.
I didn't know where the top right corner.
I didn't know I was gonna have a helper that works
Yeah, you
out.
got like lovely
That's nice.
assistant. Yes.
Before we go, I'll write everybody's names down to. I have them all numbered, so I know who has what. But I didn't want to put names on the tablets just for if anybody changes or whatever. It makes it easier for that. So I handed out also. It's an instruction sheet. Kind of goes through and gives you a quick synopsis of how the tablet works. We can go through it quick if you want. So when you first turn it on, if you click the button at the very top of the tablet, it'll light up for you. It's right on the top of the device up here.
I can help you. Get the weather. Check scores.
Which button? There's 4 of them.
Wow.
So if you have a screen, once your screen like lights up, if you just swipe it, then it opens up, and then we can exit out of the I can help you stuff.
Get the weather. Check sports. Try it now. Just press and hold the home
Alexa.
button and ask
Isn't that
me,
great?
what's the weather tomorrow?
Awesome.
Kids, it's Christmas.
All you have to do is ask.
It's got games on it.
Yeah, if
Games all over it. I want games on here.
Yeah, well, these ones-
It's got games on it.
It's got keys.
It does.
Does it? I don't know.
And now the button is down on the bottom on the right-hand side, Ruth, to turn it on.
It's on.
Oh, is it on?
Try it now. Just press and hold the home button and ask me, what's the
Oh,
weather
yeah.
tomorrow?
Huh.
Well, this is gonna,
Just bad. Oh.
yeah, my grandson helped me with that. One of them does. I pressed this one.
Oh, you got this blue screen.
Should be able to
I
swivel.
think I
the
just
thing
turned it
around.
off, Gary. Try that one
Opens
again.
the other direction.
There you go.
More things to
all
do.
right.
What's the news? What's my sports update? What can I say?
Now
How
you
do
just take your finger and do
If
something.
there should be like an exit on there that'll get out of that.
I can't even get Russell's
Yeah.
unlocked.
There, you got the same thing I got.
Get the weather, check sports scores, find news and information, play music, and more. Ask.
How'd you get all those pictures? We didn't get that many.
No.
Ain't got the pictures that Russell's got.
What is this?
Russell playing cards?
It showed games on it.
I got Alexa. You get Alexa? I got Alexa.
Yeah, whatever.
some button he pressed.
Oh, no, he's there.
What it means, but I have no idea.
I don't know. What do you want, this?
This is the training.
When is our
Yes.
term up?
I know you got what I got.
That's funny.
Oh, you wanna go to there, okay. All right, okay.
So the sheet shows all of this as well, and like it has it pretty laid out, step by step. I just wanted to show everybody how to do it. So, first of all, you're gonna want to connect to like wireless because it won't get any of the documents if you're not connected somewhere. So, I've never connected these up here so that we can like walk through the process. So, if you go to your house or wherever you get internet, you'll be able to do that as well. So, if you swipe down from the top, like just drag down, it'll bring up the little window. Does everybody see the little window? Go all the way up to the top and drag. There you go.
But I lost everything now.
Where do you go, which way do you go?
Where did it go?
Did you
Well, it's, whoops, wrong way.
This was your idea, we
Now I got a picture of the mountain. It's kind of nice picture. Too wrong.
I'm gonna fail this class.
Oh, you gotta hit those buttons.
I want Dennis's grandson to come over here
Which
and
way
sit
does
right
this
here.
You're gonna get it, and it's just gonna be like common to you at some point.
Okay.
It won't take it long.
So
All right.
that's
Did
your
everybody
wireless.
get swiped
This.
down? Do you have the little menu window?
I think that's
Is
it.
what we're supposed to have on there? Okay.
Again.
Yep. I want you to get that little
Oh,
box.
you wanna get that box, okay.
Okay.
He's
I'm
got
with
more
you
than
on
I
that.
do.
I'm with you.
More notifications, I guess. He gets more advertisements.
Dennis, this is cheating, you got your grandson to help you for a while.
Glad too, let me tell you that.
Carol to help me.
All right. So, in that little section, you'll see the button that says settings. Everybody see the settings?
It says settings.
Oh, yeah, there.
Just tap on settings, and it'll bring you to another
On
window.
there,
Okay,
Got it? Two boxes, what do you get three?
This one here.
all right.
the
we're
one
at
that says settings.
That one.
That's settings.
Press on this one, Jerry. It says settings.
There's one that looks like a.
A
Get a whole
gear
bunch of other
top
stuff.
there, yeah.
What happens there when you press it?
Huh? What'd you do? You broke it.
That puts it in overdrive.
You just didn't touch it nice. Gotta be gentle with it, Pete.
All right. So, and once you get into settings, up at the top left, there's one that says wireless.
Yep.
Click on that. And then it'll go to another screen. You're going to see Wi-Fi at the top. Click on that. All right. And then you should see a big list of a bunch of stuff. Do you guys see that?
Yep.
So the one at the top is the one you're going to want to hit. That will share a public that has the biggest signal. You just touch that, and it'll automatically connect. Now this particular one doesn't have a security password on it.
The top.
My guess is that at your house, or if you go to the library or wherever you're going to connect, you're probably going to have to put a password in. So when you push the button there, it's going to prompt you for the password, and then you just put the password in, whatever the password might be. And again, that's on that little handout sheet.
You issue us a password, or we gotta put one in?
No, you'll have to put whatever the password if it's at your house or wherever you're going to connect at.
Now, the screen that came up now says, it's a small screen, says WCIT Public. It's got forget and canceled on the bottom corner.
You can just ignore that or forget. You can hit forget. That's just the access point in my
Yeah, all
office that I use to set them up with. So once it shows connected by the Washera Public, then you can hit the little home button at the bottom. So it's a little round circle at the very bottom. And that'll take you back to that main screen.
Where's America's Funniest Videos when you need them?
Mine's ancient at the shop. I can do that one. This is completely different.
So the way these work is each one's got its own email address. So that on the front of your little cover here is going to be the email address. It's this name and then at the co.washero whatever is the email address. And I can send that out to Donna. She can get it out to everybody else. So each one has its own email address. We set up a group email so that Mel and whoever needs to send documents to you guys, you'll just email it to the group and or just a particular person. And what happens is it just drops it right on the front screen here. So if you see the documents that are there, like there's a county board tablet training, there's a today's agenda in 2 forms. There's a Word document and then it's a PDF. So that's how the documents will come to you. And then you just tap on one of those, it'll just open it up and you can look at it, review through it, do whatever you need to do with it. And every time somebody sends an email, it just goes right on that little desktop there.
Okay.
That's pretty much the gist of how they work. And again, that sheet has pretty detailed instructions on that as well.
I don't know, I went back to the mountains.
Where's the back key when you see the agenda on here?
Yeah, so when you open up one, the back key, the little bottom will disappear. So now all you do, if you swipe up from the bottom,
Just on there because they're on there.
Yeah, some of them.
it'll bring that
You might
little-
need your email.
Oh, I see it.
back button, home
So
button.
then you
all
can
that
push
which
that
one
and
of
you'll
these
go back
will
to
have
the
the
screen.
Yep,
board
and
meeting.
if you hit the home screen, it'll go back, or you can hit the back button and it'll go back as well.
Okay, okay.
Now, when the agendas come to us for different meetings, they'll automatically come to this and be
Correct. But now it has to be connected to the internet in order for that to happen. But yes, if it's connected, as soon as somebody emails it, it'll drop it right on the tablet and you'll see it in like the new area there.
Okay, so I have Wi-Fi in my house.
Okay.
And if it would ask what I have, it's whatever, Magnolia, whatever it's called. I might have to type that in somewhere.
Yeah, when you do the connection like we did
Ask
to
for
your
other-
network, it'll ask you for the password.
Okay.
You just type it in then.
So then I won't ever have to do that again. It would always.
Unless you change your password or your router, no, you won't have to put, it'll just remember it.
But basically, it's a lot the same as a phone then.
Very much the same.
Okay, so we're gonna get all the agendas and all the minutes from all the committees. So if we read an agenda, we don't want it, how do we get rid of it?
That's a good question. I honestly, I didn't look into getting rid of them. I was assuming they were just going to stay on there
Okay,
at that point. I mean, I can find out and let you know.
okay.
I honestly
Good
don't
idea.
know.
Otherwise, it'd be just really cluttered, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can delete them on my side because I can manage the tablets from, so I mean, if they get full, I'll get an alert and then I can clean them that way. But yeah, we can look into, at some point, we probably want to get rid of stuff.
And if you look at something you're not supposed to, Barry will know.
Yes.
And he'll tell Ruth.
Any other questions at all?
Is there any way to get rid of those other apps that are on the bottom?
Unfortunately, no. You can try to delete them if it'll let you. But my guess is it won't because that was part of the nice price that we got on them. You get all the advertisements that come in.
Sometimes if you would hold your finger on one of these 4 that came on, you hold it on there, would a delete button come up then?
Let me just try this one. Yeah, so if you hold your finger on it, it'll come up. It'll say remove from the home screen or remove from device.
Okay.
So then that'll delete it for you. It's basically like a cell phone. If you hold on to the app, you can get rid of it.
Found from the East Central one was that, like, if you go to, say you open up the electronic device use agreement. You open that up. If you go to a page 2, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you have to swipe with 2 fingers to go down the page, because you'll get half of the page on the tablet, and then when you want to read the second instead of just using one finger, sometimes it works better if you use two, or if you make it a little tiny bit smaller, then that works better too. And then the next page, you swipe over to get the next page, right? Gary?
Yeah. Just swipe to the left or to the right to go back and forward.
The search bar at the top now, if you want to look at board minutes from October, I know it won't be in this year, but
Right.
previous board minutes, you just type in what
Yeah,
date you
you
wanted.
can just type it in. It should, if it's not on your screen there, it should just show up. Just push the button on the top. No, on the very top of the tablet here. Over just
That's the
over
camera
that-
right there. No, outside, right up here.
Don't be too hard on yourselves.
It takes a while, yeah.
My grandson, he probably know how to do it.
See how easy that was?
You'll probably call next week and say you lost yours, huh, Bob?
Probably. They got a tracking device on these? Yeah, that'd work.
Any other questions at all?
How long does the charge typically last?
What's that?
How long does the charge typically last?
I haven't experienced that much with them. They've been on in my office all day without being plugged in, and they're just down a little bit. So I think it's probably just going to depend on the usage, but I'd say you could get a pretty good day out of it.
Mine went blank.
Cover, I think it will cover any meeting that you have. If you bring it in, and before you go to your meeting, if you make sure it's charged, then you shouldn't have any problems. Make sure you charge.
What'd you press to get that?
Gary's probably thinking, oh my God, what just happened here?
Where'd you?
Not at all.
Yeah, but I got this. How'd you get to that?
And you can always stop in and talk to us if, you know, you got more questions.
PDF agenda.
Hi about that.
Hopefully you're in a good mood that
There we
day.
go.
Yeah, my door's open, so I'm usually always
Little square button over there,
questions, whatever.
it'll take you
To
to,
turn it off, just push this button.
this is.
The
right
same
here.
button that you turned it on.
Here all the time.
If you hold it, it'll actually
There you
power it
can
off. If you just push it,
Check it
it'll
out
just go
and
quiet.
see what you got.
Okay.
Any questions for Barry?
How do you see this number here?
I have it wrote down. It's only for inventory purposes, so I just tagged it so I could get it in inventory.
I got mine shut off. Get it turned back on.
How do you get out of here?
I do.
For Sheriff Public, I believe it is.
Press some button.
One I have,
Just keep pressing buttons, something will happen.
it says 1014 on it, I think.
I think I want a paper.
Yeah, so on the very front, if you're gonna have a little
There.
sticker,
Number 3.
or number 3. Then it's,
Right here.
yeah, I'm looking at the tags
Just
on the
flat
front.
them open, or how do you know?
Okay.
7.
7. Larry, what's yours? Larry? What's your number on yours there?
Mine?
Yeah.
Which one, this number?
Yep.
WC boards 8.
8.
9.
You're 9. 10. How did that work out? Got Dennis's.
Here, look.
On the
Right
outside,
on outside,
under your hand.
under the seatbelt.
What do you want?
2.
2?
2?
I know it's
I
tough,
like
but-
that.
What's Pat's?
Oh, you're catching on fast, Bob.
Well,
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What number? 5? What was your name again?
Pete Kanowski? Mark.
Kirschner, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It'll shut off automatically.
What was your first name?
Mark.
That's a good
And that means he's got 4, I'm guessing.
Jerry's 4.
And that's
Number 4, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Barry's 4.
Everybody was calling me about it. I never seen
what's
it.
his last name?
Day after.
Read the paper once in a while.
Yeah, I
Can
should.
you spell that?
That was a nice
I
article.
can't see it.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody was calling me and telling me about it.
ROTH.
You don't get the Angus?
Yeah, but I wasn't home.
Oh.
You know.
All right.
Nice write-up about Nate.
Okay.
Oh, MEL.
And I've got Bernadette's here.
Well, I should be
Have
there for the bar,
Bernadette's,
but
okay.
no, that'll be on the front
Are we
page.
done?
Said I wonder if they needed insurance money, but somebody said there wasn't no insurance, so who knows?
Okay. Any other questions at all?
Larry.
How much of these cost us, or what kind of deals you get?
The device itself was $229, and then the case was right around 40, and the screen protector was about 35. So less than $300 for all of it, or right around $300 for all of it.
Any other questions? We have a electronic device use agreement. If you could look that over this month, we'll act on this at executive and then bring it to the board. So just pretty much, you know, no porn. Can't do anything with it that I should.
Deb will be holding classes for you separately.
Jerry, stop by anytime. Yeah.
Ruth already volunteered to come over.
I'll just go right to his house.
Very perfect. Yes. You have some cold beer there,
Yeah.
Jerry?
Yeah, I said, as long as you guys.
I'll come
don't
over
beer.
and help.
Okay, any other questions? All right, are there any board suggestions for future agenda items?
I have a question on.
Oh, okay.
Read it and then.
There was no direction given. It was just, this person sent it to me through interoffice mail and with a copy for all the board and asked that I distribute it to you. So I treated it the way I'd treat any other request of getting something to board members.
So I guess after we review the communications, we forward it to a particular committee, and we should let them ride on with the insurance.
Our jail corporal sent a letter to our commissioners. I don't, I wasn't aware
after the first year, nothing since then, so I probably missed the boat here.
You better be writing your letters.
I better, at least I got a model to go by now.
Take things you've done. And then, and then come, if you want this address, call Deb, she'll put it on the agenda for the next regular meeting.
Or if you have specific questions that you want answered, I'd be happy to help you with that.
And one other thing, I'm gonna be at the sports show from March 8th to March 12th, and I'm looking for volunteers.
Dennis has already volunteered for one of those days, so one of those days is scheduled. Did you bring your
Wednesday through
sign-up
Sunday.
sheet with you? I did. I brought my sign-up sheet just in case. Dennis and Tom are going on Wednesday. The dates are, March 8th through March 12th. You said that, right? And Dennis is doing March 8th, Dennis and Tom Dalkey. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are open.
From noon till 9. Carol and I are down there. She'll be missing a day or so because of church, but what it amounts to is you go down there and man the booth after run the little boys' room or whatever, or go have lunch or whatever. You do have to paint that smile on and keep it on all the while you're there. Just about everybody that's there is there to have a good time, and there's usually not any confrontations or anything like that. And I give you as much time to go through the show as you want, and hardly anybody puts in that many hours down there.
Usually, Everett lets us go by 6 o'clock or so, so we can get home. We don't usually stay all the way till 9, but, so if you are interested in doing the booth with Everett, either call Everett or Scott, right? Okay, very good. All right, do we have board suggestions for future agenda items? Nothing? Any questions now, Bo? Last chance. All right, very good. Thanks for coming.
I must
Hope you
say,
enjoyed it.
he's never that quiet. He'll keep me awake all the way home, I know that.
Okay, we need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Everett, second by Larry. We are adjourned.
He was.
Up here at my house.
There's a button on top.
There was a car down there by,
Thank you, Barry.
right there. Turn right on, right here, by Cottrell's. Said you better call somebody, somebody's gonna hit that, or,
What is that?
he said it was there this morning already, it was there yet at 4 o'clock, and Bob and I come back, so. They call Wally, and they were
Otherwise, you're gonna
motivated to move it.
Not our problem.
Now, there'll be a test next month on that, Jerry, so you.
How do you connect it to Wi-Fi? That'll be a written examination. I don't know what Wi-Fi even is. No idea. Well, it's something you have to have to get on the internet.
Terry out of it, 'cause there's not a lot to see.
pass it.